All right. Hello, everybody. Let's just jump right into this. I am John Lombard. I am the founder and president of Cultural Capital Coaching. I do my best to work with immigrant entrepreneurs to empower them to be more successful, to build larger, more successful businesses. Uh, I'm doing a series of podcast interviews with various immigrant entrepreneurs who have already built success in Canada or in the US. And they're going to be sharing their experiences with you, their journeys, their advice. So today I'm very pleased to be interviewing Tracy Barry. Tracy is the founder of Grow Women Leaders, a national organization that seeks to work with immigrants, particularly, obviously, female immigrants, to empower them, to help them to be more successful, to build their lives. This isn't just in the entrepreneurial space. This is in all areas of their life. Just how to adapt here, how to build a life here, how to be happier here, how to face all those challenges. Tracy is originally from Nigeria and came to Canada 20 years ago and has really had an amazing journey, has accomplished quite a bit along that road in those 20 years. So don't want to spend a lot of time with me talking. This is really Tracy's time. So, Tracy, thank you very much for agreeing to do this. We've had a few challenges getting this going, but we're finally together. So, I'd like you to start. Could you just share with everybody your journey from that first day, your arrival in North America, to the point where you actually felt comfortable, established in Canada?
Perfect. Once again, thank you so much, Jen, for having me on your platform. I believe this is an amazing initiative. And of course, as you said, my name is Tracy Florencio Barry, but yeah, you can go with Tracy Barry. I am the founder and CEO of Grow Women Leaders and many other initiatives under the Grow um, businesses. So with that said, what we specialize doing at Grow Women Leaders, as you heard John saying, is helping women, especially immigrant women, get hired and advance their career. So anything that's got to do with hiring and advancing career when it comes to women and the BIWOC, Black Indigenous Women of Color. And that is what we specialize in doing at Grow Women Leaders. And of course, just as you also ask, it hasn't been easy getting to where I am today. And of course, you can also know that it's not an overnight success. Something has had it up that has led me here. And people always ask me that, how do you get to where you are today? And of course, this is where I would say my personal ordeal as an immigrant in Canada, looking to find myself and integrate into the culture, into Canadian system. Actually gave me the idea of what I did or what I do for women under the Grow Women Leaders initiative, or in the companies and every initiative that I have. And that was because when I came to Canada, as I told you initially, John, is when you're back home, you see all these amazing things about, North America in particular. You're watching the movies, you see the kids licking ice cream, riding their bike, the beautiful streets and all that. You're always dreaming to say, oh my goodness, some days I want to be here wearing those beautiful dresses like the kids and licking ice cream and just having a fantastic life. And especially when you're having that kind of dreams, if you're in a third world country or you are in a developing country, you totally understand what that looked like. And for the family that I was in, that was born into, like, we were, my family was okay, but we needed more to be more, and you want to be that child, that precious child that really give your family the best life. Found myself in Canada after dreaming that some days I want to be in America. And then you're like, where's the money tree that the money is growing so I can send it back and just lift up everybody from every circumstances that they are in. And then you're going to be like, oh, you look for the trees and there's no money tree here. And you're like, oh my God, what do I have to do? Apparently you have to make money to send money back home. That was exactly my whole stories of, wanting to make my parents, my family, everybody back home proud. And then I forgot that. So of course, before you make money, you have to have a skill or whatever that leads to that. And when I realized that, oops, something has to give. And basically, and of course, as I told you before, I wouldn't want to go into a lot of details, but also I saw a lot of mistakes and a lot of preparation that I have to do to get the Canadian dreams that I was actually hoping for. And I didn't see that come through. And this is where I was like, oh, let's start a family. I started having a family and not already establishing myself already. And that become more even, I won't say chaotic. Having kids is amazing. My kids are so precious to me, but it made this situation indeed really, really bad. And you're wondering, like, how am I going to get that from here to make that money and send it back to people that are waiting for me back home, people that are depending on me, and all those thoughts weighing on you. And the disappointment, the frustrations that comes with that. Sometimes for many, even to me at one point, may have led to depression or whatever it is, because you're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to be like, what am I going to do today? It's not working. You go back to sleep. There was a lot that just happened during the first initial stage of me integrated into Canada. And when I was going through my ordeal, I started seeing other amazing women that was going through that as well. So yeah, it was really difficult. And these women that I was meeting with had a lot of potential as well, but we were all stuck in that circle of not knowing what to do. And during that time, that was when I promised myself to say, if I ever find a way for myself, I am given a promise that I will help women, especially immigrants, will never be in this situation that I was in back then. And yes, and that thought was everything that I woke up to. And of course, I started fighting to say, I'm going to get out of this. And of course, my kids became my motivation of wanting to do better for myself. So I had to do everything that I can use to get myself out of that, because I wanted to give them the life that they deserve. And I wanted to live the Canadian dream that I have always seen growing up. And of course, the opportunity came when I had to move from the first province that I was in and moving into the province that I am in right now, which is Alberta. Alberta became everything that I ever dreamed of. It gave me that opportunity. For me, I always say Alberta is my land of opportunity, because it did give me the opportunity. And as I told you before, I came here, everything just went according to the way I was planning. Things was changing so fast, and women were like, how are you doing this? What are you doing? I want to be like you. I'm like, well, girl, you don't want to know where I'm coming from. But either way, I can support you with the best that I had. And that was when I started supporting women here in Alberta, not even knowing anything. But what I have learned was what I was starting to teach just women, which I still do. And of course, the big opportunity came in 2017 when Canada was celebrating 150th. And I thought, I was in school then at the University of Alberta. I'm like, I'm going to do something amazing. I thought, what can I do? Though I had no idea. I just came into the province not too long. I don't know anything. I do not have any connection. But something in me just motivated me to say, this is your time. You can do something. And of course, everyone in Edmonton, my beautiful Edmonton organization in there, just reaching out randomly to organization. People really say, I give them my idea and tell them this is what I'm working on. And everybody embraced it and said, what can we do for you? And without planning, without nothing, I just, jumped on it, being the person that I am. And of course, I got in there. This project was bigger than me, than I even thought. But thank goodness for the amazing people that stepped in. I learned through the process. And of course, the project that we are titled Project 150 accomplished to 150 immigrant women in Canada, took us across Canada, just hearing amazing stories from immigrant women that were successful in different fields, in different careers, who we brought to the stage to come share their stories so that people can be inspired. Because at that time, that was what I thought. people needed. They needed to know that there is always light at the end of this tunnel. And there was nobody really talking about that, because everybody was just there, depending on the culture and the community you belong to, you're in there, which for me, in everything I'm doing, I'm always like, exposure is important. It's sometimes it's better for you to get out of that bus. And that's what Canada gives us, multicultural. You enjoying that multicultural and just going outside of it is no harm doing that. I've seen a lot of immigrants also making a lot of mistakes with it, and yeah, that's how it led me to do that. And when we did our project, it was really successful when going across Canada, bringing these women to come to stage, which was what the initial plan was, to go hear the stories of these women. But the plan started changing when I started hearing hundreds of women that was not listening to all these people that we are bringing to the stage. It could be them reading their story online, coming to the series that we may be hosting in their town or wherever it was. And people were like, that is me. Tracy, do you know I have masters? Do you have, I know, PhD? Do you know I have 20 something years experience? And here in Canada, and there was just a lot of stories, people talking about, abuses that we're going through, everything, discrimination. I was like, oh my God, like I have to say, nobody prepared me for what I saw. Like it was at one point I was like, I need to take a breath. I didn't plan for this, but it just kept just going on its own. I keep telling people, the Project 150 took a life of its own and even changed my life drastically. And that was when I was like, I love what I was doing. I enjoyed it. The way, I don't know what happened, taking its life of its own, the way I was able to use this to change life and people coming back. I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. That I also had to make a drastic change to my path. I had to I want to build a business around this. I want to do this. And now that led me to now say, how do I make money from doing this? That it was just different stages, but at the end, a lot of work, a sleepless night, a lot of tears, a lot of hard work. I was able to build a business out of it. And we're still building a business because there's a lot to learn. As you can see, we started this from scratch, and nobody had an idea what I was trying to do. But yeah, we've built multiple companies under this initiative, and we're just only getting started. So that's me, and that's my journey that I've encountered since I've been in Canada, which has been amazing. And I have to emphasize, there is a lot of opportunities that is out there. Just being with the right people and being in the right community and being in the right place can actually trigger that. I think that is what Grow and the initiative that I've done, that's what it did for me, and that is what it's gotten me, or it's getting me to where I am today.
Okay, amazing, Tracy. And just I'm going to add in here just so people have an idea of how accomplished you are. You have been recognized as a top 25 Canadian immigrant, also the WXN top 5 CEDI leaders in Canada. So this is not something you're toiling away silently. You've really impacted a lot of lives and gotten quite a bit of recognition for what you're doing. So that's amazing.
Thank you. That are many among many other awards that I have privilege. Of course, I share that with the people that believed in me, my team, and all that. It's what I've gotten in the process. So that just makes us want to work. That shows that you're in the right place, you're doing the right thing, and just keep getting better. Of course, that's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you tell us a little about your team?
Oh, my team. Oh, my goodness. Whew. Talking about my team. Now you're going to make me cry. Yes. Yeah, my team. Like they took this, they believe it. They are the sons and daughters. If they are not immigrants themselves, they are the sons and daughters of immigrants, or they are the allies of immigrants, or they are the, sometimes I'll say, co-conspirator of immigrants. Yes, they empower. Many of them leave to want to make an impact in the lives of immigrants, especially those that's really that they see that, when they see potential, they want to see that they are recognized, the talents are put to use, Yeah, that's my team. They just they're I might be like the head, but they are my neck, and without the neck, the head ain't going nowhere.
Mm.
So my team, they are awesome, and yeah, we keep working on this every day. And now, as you can see, we have to be innovative, because with what we're dealing with is very multifaceted. Of course, when we say we're helping women get hired and advance their career, there's a lot, as you said, goes into that. But we've chosen to focus on helping match skills or talents to companies, helping train those that need additional training in order for them to be able to get an adequate job, ongoing support that is going to help in retention, which is other bigger aspects to hiring. Hiring is one thing, as I always tell the companies that we work with, or even the candidates, it's the retention part of it. You know how we got here, family issues and back and forth, and life just happened. And for women, it's a done deal. It's always going to happen. But how do we accommodate that in the workforce? How can government come together to say, let's grow women leaders, let's help them be in the workforce more, let's retain them in the workforce? This is where grow women leaders come in, and this is where we are working with companies that are looking to diversify and stay diversified, governments that are looking to really have diversity in the workforce, and women that are looking for a place that's really recognized and where they belong. So those things and many other is where my team share the same value with me, and we just keep rocking every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as I haven't really talked about in this video, but of course, as you know, I lived and worked in China for 25 years. So I had kind of the opposite experience of being an immigrant to the Chinese culture, where, language, culture, there were major challenges. But I also have another connection with this, in that my wife is a Chinese immigrant, and we're right now going through the process of her getting, she's very experienced, speaks excellent English, but she just arrived in Canada last August, and yeah, she's gone through a lot of struggles just to try to get a basic job. So,
as I said,
yeah.
John, you are in a perfect place to get this done. Like, you understand, you read it and see the whole lens, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing and working side by side with you, if it accepts, which I would love to be part of that. Absolutely, it's a lot of challenging. It's a winding road. As I said, it's very multifaceted to get into that, living that real Canadian dream, which I have to say, there is a lot of opportunity out there. You see it in front of you. Canada has a lot of opportunity. For some, getting there is where the road is too unwinding, and that is where we that has the experience and that have gone through it, actually dedicating our time to say we're going to help multiple. And for me, I said it's I get when we say growing women leaders, we focus on representation. Let's grow the best to become a representation, and then when we can grow that few that are on top of those area, it trickles down. I have two daughters. Oh my God. People that know me, they know my daughter. They are fierce. I want the best for them, and they enjoying every bit of Canada, what Canada has to offer, because they're amazing. I don't want them, their gender, their race, where they're from, or where their parents from, hinder them from where they're supposed to be. And that is why I do what I do. And in order for that to really be a reality, is actually growing those women leaders that is on top, that my kids can keep looking up to say, she can do it. If she can do it, yep, I can do it. And just their mother doing what they're doing, I can see the difference in their well-being, and people can also see that they are different. You know what I mean? And that's just me. Imagine if I have 10 other women that is already amazing up there, that are representing not just by race but by culture, as gender and all that. They will stay motivated to pursue their dream. This is where we come in. And of course, I just totally understand what your wife is going to, and this is where she join our community, and we'll make it happen. We work together with her to make sure that she gets what she's looking for. Yeah.
Super. So, speaking of that winding road, I know, like, we could probably do an entire podcast just about the challenges faced by immigrants, but could you talk about maybe some of the more frustrating or unexpected challenges or barriers that immigrant entrepreneurs may face in coming to Canada?
There's a lot,
Yeah.
there's a lot. And until recently, things has drastically, now you can sense my African accent. It always come out every now and then when I'm about to talk something exciting. Anyway, there was I will have to also give it to recent after the pandemic and everything that has happened. Things I can see that there is a lot of big changes, but prior to that, there was a lot of challenges that myself I can speak to myself that I had to face. I'm trying to be careful here. But it was a lack of support. You know what I mean? It was actually, let me say this, and still, I beg to be corrected or stand corrected if I may say it in a way. I apologize for that. But I think the system didn't really recognize entrepreneurship a lot. I think it was more of the professional hiring and work company, and the word entrepreneurship was not really at least what I saw in the community and everything that I was growing up was not recognized. Even as we speak right now, if I was to be in a community, I'm the only woman that do what I do. You know what I mean? I've done, like, I've motivated a lot of women. Many people that know that, even in the province that I'm in, many people would know me, and most of these women, they were inspired because I started. Oh, the Tracy, when they hear about my story, she has 5 kids, she's an immigrant, and that was when the whole thing started changing. The whole entrepreneurship in Alberta, especially in Edmonton, a lot of women saw me doing it and they were inspired and they started. I can say that. And even as that is going on, if we were to go to family gathering, right? I'm the only one that do what I do. Everybody is speaking healthcare, speaking social work. And I'm like, what do you do? I'm like, what I do. You don't want to know. You know what I mean? I'm still very, like, I stand out. And you know what that means when it comes to resources and support? Because people actually, I've seen that people really support what they know. You know what I mean? And oh, not to even talk about the aspect of how my path was so untraditional to where I'm getting from, where I came from. As you can see, my business started from the initiative that I developed. It's not like I just woke up one day and I'm like, oh, I worked in a burger, McDonald's for a long time. I'm starting a franchise. Can I get money to be loaned to me? Right? Or I am a social worker. I want to start my practice. Can I get a loan? So my path was so unique. And hence the resources that supported me was not there. Because when I sit with people to say, hey, I need support, nobody understood me, and the risk was not there. Hence, I wasn't getting the support when it comes to financial support that I needed. So I saw myself that I had to explain myself more. At one point, I just gave, even some, I can still say that I'm just trying to get back into fundraising now, and so because it got to a point I was like, what is the point? Because if I sit with you, you're not going to support me. It was like me always focusing on how do I get the support. So going back to your question, there were a lot of hindrances that was stopping a lot of entrepreneurs, and still there is. You know what I mean? And this is where I feel a lot of education has to be, a lot of belief has to be, a lot of, it's not even like, I'm not going to point my hands to anybody, but I also have to say, this is where community, especially communities, different communities, this is where I always say that you have to identify your talents and try to support them, especially when you see they have the zeal, the ambition. You have to get in back of them, because some of them need those supports to get the resources. And I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs doing it alone. And this is where I feel that it's still a very tough career path for many people, because there's no support. I'll give you an example. My parents, entrepreneurship is called a trader back home. They wake up one day, I'm like, I'm going to be a petty trader, which my mom was when I was growing up. You start up, I'm going to go buy this, I'm going to buy goats. you don't even have a customer. You don't have to go through all the regulations and all that.
Yeah.
And before you know, your communities, they're supporting you, your families, they're supporting you, everybody's supporting you when you're going to the market, which is an open marketplace to go sell those goods. In addition to selling in your place, there's somebody watching your child. You come back in the night, and there's this system already set up in, I can say, from Nigeria that I saw growing up, that communities support their entrepreneur and back them up. The entrepreneurs don't have it here. So even though they have an amazing idea, they don't have a community that they sell it to. And many of them, they do give up before they even bring their vision to reality. And yeah, that was me. And it's getting better. I have to say it's getting better. I will see what the next decade hold. But before, it was harder. And it was also very hard for me to do what I did, that I had to abandon that resources and just focus on my creativities, which in return it took a toll on my journey on how to get there. And still, it's still there. I have to stay, but we're navigating it one day at a time.
Yeah. For local Canadians that are seeking to be allies, that are seeking to help empower, encourage these immigrant entrepreneurs, what advice how can they do that? What do you think would be most important? For a guy like me, yeah.
It takes you watching this to get started without needing any validation from anybody. It comes from your heart to say, I can be the change that this person may need. You might think that you're not intricate, or it might not contribute a lot, but there's also a saying that said, a little drop of water makes a mighty ocean. You'll be surprised that the little that you can contribute to that person means a lot, and you don't need a validation from any other group, or you don't even have to say what you've done, or you don't have to even take a picture of it. Just, it can be a word of encouragement, a little, and also really doing it from your heart. That's all it takes. It's just making that decision to say, this is what I really want to do, and it takes only you to make that difference. And that's how it starts. And it's you, when we talk about allyship, it's you doing like cultural, I don't know what word I'm going to use, like just saying, I'm going to embrace this culture. It's more than, it's, how am I going to say, it's Women Month. I'm going to go hang out with the women. I take a picture. It's Black History Month. I'm gonna go eat African food or some Black food and take some kente and take a picture of it. And after the whole 11 month, you don't talk about it. It's more than that. It's you actually committing a certain percentage of your time to say, I am gonna be there. And you don't have to do a lot for everyone. Commitment to one, just as I said before about community helping their talent get to the top. You just investing in one person, and that person get to the top, and that will be your success story. One community at a time, one immigrant at a time, and really doing it from the wholeness of your heart without validation from anyone on anything. So that's how it starts.
Okay, yeah, and one of the things I like to tell people to do, like I'll see quite commonly is when you have an immigrant and they do some sort of behavior that's not culturally appropriate in Canada. There are a lot of people that try to help them by saying, oh, well, in Canada, this is how we do it. And that's helpful, but I think take the next step and ask them, in your culture, in your country, what do you do? Why do you do it? What does it mean? Make the effort to understand, when they're doing this, why are they doing it? What does that mean? Where does this come from? Get understanding going both ways. I think by showing interest in their culture, in their thinking, things like that, it takes you from being kind of like a relationship like this. You're the local in power. They're the person learning from you, to being equals. We're learning from each other.
That's true. And that makes a lot of difference as well. I totally would concur to that. Yes, that's for sure. It takes a little bit of this communication. People want to be heard. During the time, my own ordeal, when I was trying to integrate and all the suffering that I had to go through, all I wanted to hear was just somebody validating to me that I did it. You can. And that word alone was so curse for me that time. It's curse. I hope I'm saying it right. If my kids were here, they're gonna be laughing at me and say, "Mommy, that's not how." Yeah, I didn't want nothing from you. It's just you validated to me this, Tracy. It's a phase. It's this too shall pass. I didn't get that. I didn't see it. I didn't get no validation. And then when I started seeing that, it was like, oh my God, you spoke to my soul. Oh my God, you too, you went through that. And that's when all the old, feelings just started saying, if she can do it, I can do it. I just have to persevere a little bit. So that it takes a little. You think it takes a lot? No, no, no. When I talk about allyship and all those words and everything that is out there, sometimes it does not take you to bring the money out. When I was building my own business, how much I wanted a mentor.
Yeah.
This is like, you want me to get to me talking about what I face? I will be begging to say, can you just mentor me? Nobody wanted to mentor me. Yeah. I will be emailing back and forth to say, can I just, some of them will book with me and they will cancel. And then I'll go home and start crying my head out and say, what have I done wrong? You know what I mean? Even the ones that say they want to mentor me, they know where the resources were. I was complaining, please, can you just help me with the resources? They know what I'm looking for. They're going to be looking at me. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's not you just going there to go with money. It's not always about the money. It's always about you just paying interest to.
You're valuable. You're
don't worry.
Something. You're going somewhere.
And connection. I met another mentor that I met along the way that I met close to now when I was not successful. She actually came by. I feel that woman has made a lot of difference with just her words. And because of that, I don't think I will ever forget her. And for real, for me, I'm a very informative person. Like I learn a lot from people, that's how I learn. I'm like when my intellectual power is me just learning from you, and you don't know I'm learning from you, but I learn a lot from life and experience. That's where my intellectual comes. This woman, I've met with her a couple of times, and there are things that she did or say that changed my life and took me to where I am today. Just words that she says. And when I say to her, she's always like, oh no, Tracy. No, I'm like, no, you don't know. And the last time I met with her a couple of days, the word that she used fueled me for the next 5 years. She might not even know. And the way she assures me, the way those are the things that I wanted. And for me, when she was leaving, I'm like, oh my God, this woman don't know that she's just fueled me for the next 5 years. You know what I mean? And whatever she had said now is going to be making a lot of difference. And that is the only woman that has actually made a difference through our words. And that is all it takes sometimes to just get those people there. So I'm talking to the allies, so people that are wanting to support immigrants and entrepreneurs and all that. That is all it might take for you as well.
Yeah, and I could absolutely relate to that. I remember, as I told you, when I went to China in 1993, my first 2 years were teaching in university. Then I decided to do business, and I wanted to do cultural training for foreign managers coming to China. Well, the thing is, I had zero business training, education, zero business experience. I knew absolutely nothing. I was seeking to work as like a solopreneur, as an individual in a market that was dominated by huge, big name, famous training companies. And nobody to mentor me, nobody to tell me what to do or how to do it. I did everything on my own. I made every mistake possible. I had not only nobody encouraging me, I had everybody telling me I was insane. I couldn't do it. You've never done business. You don't understand business. You're trying to compete against these big international companies. You can't do it. And the only thing that kept me going was the fact that I hate anybody telling me I can't do something. And I was going to prove them wrong.
I knew I have something so common with you. Like that's why this is so. Yes.
Yeah, and I did. It took me a while. Like I said, I made tons of mistakes, but every mistake that I made, I looked at it, learned from it, did better, and I built a successful company. I did what and after it's all done, people looked at it and, oh wow, you're so lucky. No, there's not a there's not even a tiny iota of luck in this. This
It's
was
hard work.
hard work,
And giving up
perseverance,
a lot of things, and just people don't see the back end.
yeah,
And that's why if you see my I have to also say this as an entrepreneur, if you see my social media, I choose not to really post so much, right, of everything than not putting anything. Because when I really see the journey that you have to go through as an entrepreneur, and I see how social media don't reflect it,
yeah.
you know what I mean? And I don't want to be part of, yeah, I might post like a little bit of my award to say like, yeah, this is where it's going to take you to, but I don't want to post something that I know within my mind that, oh God, before this may have happened, you don't know what I've been through.
Yeah.
So because of that, until I have the right words, you see, when you ask me about things now to say, I have a lot to say, a lot to say. Maybe being my hand up, being nothing, I choose not to say. So the same thing is with, until I have the right word to really say, to encourage these women or the men that are going to be watching, I choose not to. Because when I post, I want it to be a representation of what I'm really going through. And I want to be able to put it in a right word and encouraging words, because that's all that it matters. I want to be able to show the back end. Will it allow me to show the back end of my day to day of being a mother of five, being an immigrant, you know, trying to being a woman of color, navigating, and who has this insane big dream and what it really takes? You don't want to say that. I don't want to scare you, but is it possible when you do a lot of hard work, perseverance? Sure, it is possible. And that's what I want. I want them to always know that it is possible through the awards that I get.
So, my next question for you, because I'm sure you and I could talk forever about all these
I'm
topics,
telling you,
but I
yes.
would like to ask you also, obviously, immigrant entrepreneurs are going to face particular challenges, but also I think they bring particular strengths and advantages with them. So, could you kind of address what do you think are some of the strengths and advantages that an immigrant entrepreneur has in coming to Canada?
Fresh perspective. I think that's the one that I always tell the companies that I work with. Allow them to bring their fresh perspective that they have that you may have not have tasted. You know, like when I spoke to you, Jen, all I can see is just the opportunity, 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 you know, because you're just like this amazing recipe that has all this amazing ingredients. You just hit all the aspects of when it comes to talking about, you know, immigration and all that, and how you can really voice it even from the perspective that I cannot, right? Because you understand it well-rounded. You know, that's what it is. And for an immigrant, allowing them to bring their fresh perspective into the workforce, into the workplace, into the economy, it's a lot. You know, it's like that amazing recipe that has a lot of ingredients that you don't just know where it's from, but you taste it, you're like, that tastes good. And not just knowing that, it's actually letting them experiment on it. You know, I also say, if you remember back when I was like, if people, we were saying, how can ally really support? If you focus on just one and not doing too much and say, when they get to the top, you will be proud to say, I contributed in making that. And that sense of empowerment is going to fulfill you for the rest of your life. Just seeing that.
Yeah.
You got to allow them to do what they want, but giving them the support that they need to make all the, we're just going to buy the mistakes. You don't want to know the mistakes that I'm the next panel. If I'm in Vancouver, let me come join it and let me say a lot that I've learned from my own perspective. It's a lot of mistakes that I have to endure. And not everybody has that skin, thick skin to go through that. But I was able to persevere. So it's giving that opportunity for fresh understanding that when you hire these people, you're going to bring fresh perspective into what they're doing. And before that is done, remember, they've uprooted everything that they know and coming into this new country, and now bringing to life what they are used to, maybe through culture, through tradition, through the community and the family that they have. You're going to come try all those things that they have were indoctrinated with, and they're trying it in your country, giving them the opportunity, or trying it in your workplace, giving them the opportunity to create that and taking chances. Not on all of them, though. This is where, as a head hunter, as an expert in talent sourcing, is like, identify those talents and take risk on them. Don't just shut everybody out, you know. And then when the whole food or the thing is done, when you bite from it, even though you don't know where the ingredients and everything came from, you are gonna love it and you're gonna be so proud to say, yes, I was part in creating that. Fresh perspective, letting people be innovative, allowing them to come into that workplace, into that economy, and letting them grow once more. But in this case, it's not going to be as slow learning from how they did it back home. It will be faster because they've done it before. But you just have to be rest assured that they're going to make mistakes. Yeah. That's part of the journey. And you're going to be looking at the success and how you want to be part of, say, I create that. That is what is in it for you. But the first perspective that this women, oh, sorry, I'm always saying women because I work with all of them. Don't get it wrong. I work with all, but it's just more focused on women. That this talent or this individuals, this migrant, they come into every country with. Some of them are amazing. And it kills my heart and it burns my heart when it's going to waste.
Yeah.
What I mean, it just, and there is downtown. I mean, there is the downside, not just for the individual, but the people that are waiting for that result, and also how that will also contribute to the economy that they are in. So allowing them to work on that first perspective, bringing innovation to life, that is the opportunity that I see that is in it. And there are many more other, but that's the one that I say stay tuned to.
Yeah, and that's actually like the name of my company, Cultural Capital Coaching. That's like cultural capital. The idea is your cultural experience, your cultural wealth. That's your capital. That's the unique ingredient that you bring to starting a business in Canada. So yeah, there are obviously unique challenges that are specific to immigrant entrepreneurs, but they bring, like, to me, an entrepreneur, the ultimate essence of an entrepreneur is seeing an opportunity that others don't. You have 100 people in exactly the same situation, exactly the same opportunities, 99 see nothing. One sees, oh, I could do this. That person is the entrepreneur. And immigrants coming in because of those, culture puts certain blinders on us, things that we can see, things we can't see. So for local Canadians, we do have a particular perspective, in some ways a blinder. Someone coming in from an outside culture, because they have they still have blinders as well, but they're different. They see things that we don't see. They see opportunities that we may not see, or they may see a way to capitalize on that opportunity that I wouldn't think of. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the when I'm doing general training for entrepreneurs, one of the things I love to talk about is just the whole. I always see these statistics about, like, somewhere between 70 to 85% of entrepreneurs will fail.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of if you're talking to someone who's just getting started, if I've got like a 15 to 25% chance of success, why? Like, it's too big a risk. But when I look at this, I like to tell about part of the problem is how they're defining entrepreneur as anybody who tries to start a business. But you can actually divide those into three groups. One are people who try to start a business, make a mistake, have a problem, and decide it's too difficult, it's too much, I give up. Second, you have the people who hit that roadblock, that challenge, that problem. They don't give up, they keep going forward, but they don't learn. They just keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. Then you have the third type. That's the one that hits that roadblock, makes that mistake, whatever it is. They recognize it, identify why did they make that mistake, how can I change, what can I do differently, and they move forward. Now, the problem with those statistics is they include all three groups together. And of course, the first and second group, they're not going to achieve success. They're giving up, or they're never learning. If you look only at the third group, and you look at their success rate, it's much, much, much higher. So that's
But
one of the,
I would let me quickly say something for me.
yeah,
Another thing that I saw, how can what you just said now is based out of an experience and because you're so passionate about it and you've taken your time to learn that. But when people are in decision making, how can they identify that when they are not entrepreneurs themselves? I think that's another problem that Canada
yeah,
has. Many organizations that claims to be supporting immigrants or supporting entrepreneur, that's what they have. Because many of
yeah,
them, they don't even, some of them might tweak it, oh, I have experience. Have you really been through the struggles?
yeah,
What are your successes?
yeah,
Before you even choose a talent to cater to this group, and before they give you all those statistics that they give, how do you even choose that talent? And how
yeah,
would they even be able to identify that, let's give this person a chance, let's bet on this person? It's not. They just, because they don't really care. I don't know, I don't want to say that they don't care about or they don't understand this, and that's why the stat is high with how the job, because the people that are assessing this or that are supposed to be providing the support, they don't know how to identify those
yeah.
talents, and they just expect to say, oh, we've looked at the business plan, we feel that the number is not hard enough, so yeah, it's not going to work, we're sorry, we can support you, and hence you're letting go,
Yeah.
right?
And
So
that's right. To me, and that's the fundamental difference. Like when we talk about trainers, consultants, and coaches, I've done all three.
mhm,
Consultant basically just comes in and identifies problems and potential strategies.
mhm,
It's up to you to figure out how to implement all of that. A trainer comes in and gives you specific skills,
mhm,
but again, it's up to you. And like you said, that trainer coming in, he has no ideas of each individual, what particular challenges, problems they're going to face. I can give a training about how to overcome failure, but that's going to have minimal impact on the majority of people when they actually go through failure. Coaches, this is why I love coaching. I work side, but I don't just tell them this is what you do. They start to do it and they hit a roadblock, they fail. My first thing is talk to them. Okay, why did you fail? What was the problem? What can you do differently? What have other people done in the same situation? Like, identify the problem, identify what I can do differently, and then implement and do that step by step. And for me, that is where a coach is so powerful compared with a trainer or consultant. And I'm not putting down trainers and consultants. They absolutely have value. Like I said, I've done it myself, but I think particularly in the entrepreneurial space for empowering entrepreneurs to achieve success, it's that coaching side that much more personal, particularly helping them overcome those things. And it's very individualized. 5 different people may face exactly the same failure, but they could have 5 different reasons why they failed. A training giving a generic thing about that is not possibly going to be able to cover all of that. Coaching, talk with each individual, identifying the reason why and strategies to move forward. That's really where the difference is.
lovely, love it.
All right. Well, I think that's probably good for now. I think we've covered quite a bit. I could easily do hours and hours more, and maybe we'll do another one later. I also am hopeful in my coaching program that we'll be able to invite you to do a live chat and a Q&A with some of our participants so they can pick your brains some more. Um, I'll give you a chance. Could you just do a quick final pitch? Your name again, how people, anybody that's interested, how people can contact you. I'll add the information on the video after we're done as well. But just yeah, your final pitch for people, who you
Right.
are, how they can contact you.
All right, thank you so much, John, for giving me this opportunity. As you already know, it is me, Tracy Barry. Of course, you can always reach me at, I'm on all the platform, or just Google Tracy Valencia Barry. You get to see all that I am on LinkedIn, Facebook, and all the places you can. And most importantly, we are inviting those professional, amazing talents to join us in our community. If you're looking for a better career opportunity, www.growwomenleaders.com, where we are helping women, especially immigrant women, get hired and advance their career through job matching, training, and ongoing support. And of course, what I have to say is you're valid. That's all I have to say. You're really valid. Your dreams, your opinion, your voice, everything is valid. You just have to look for a way to sharpen it and put it up and dust it up. You know, wherever you are in your while you're looking at me, wherever phase in life you're in, dust yourself up, put yourself out there, and go for what you want, because you deserve whatever you wish for yourself. So with that said, I really look forward to seeing you all inside of Grow Women Leaders, where we all grow together. And once again, Jen, I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity. And until next time, I look forward to working with you all that sign up on our platform.
Super. One more question with regard to that. You mentioned the problem of having lack of mentors.
Yes.
What about if there are people watching this, either immigrants who are already successful or local Canadians who are interested to take a role as mentors? Is there a place for them as well?
Sign up. There's not enough of mentors, especially the ones that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, please sign up because it doesn't matter what you have. When you're true to yourself, whatever you're going through right now is what somebody needs to get to the next phase. So please sign up with that. Sign up with us to become a mentor. We truly appreciate that.
Okay, super. Again, thank you very much, Tracy. I think, yeah, not just your own journey and accomplishments, but all that you've done to help so many other people, the recognition you've gotten for what you've done. It's absolutely incredible. As you said, I think there's a lot of opportunities for you and I to work together and collaborate more. So I'm looking forward to opportunities there as well. Looking forward to hopefully seeing you in some of my coaching programs to do Q&As with our participants. So many opportunities, so much that we can do. So thank you very much for your time in doing this. And yeah, anybody who wants to contact Tracy, the information is right here. Reach out to her. She'll be overjoyed to hear from you.
Yes, yes. Bye.